Alright guys, it's Dokkan time, and today I figured it's been a hot minute, and I'm going to give you a top 10 TUR Dokkan Fest. Now as you can see, I already blocked up the first 5. The placements 5 through 10. And I did this because these 5 are pretty much obvious. You're probably questioning the topo a little bit. That's fine. We'll ignore topo for a minute there, and we'll just take a look and see that we got God Goku, we got Hirudegarn, we got 21, we got Gamma, and here's the big surprise people are probably going to be annoyed with me at, and you can be annoyed all you want. Piccolo Jr. So, before I get into it, of course, you know, if this already displeases you, I mean, I don't know to tell you, I'm sorry. This is just one Dokkan player's opinion. If you can't handle someone else's opinion, maybe you shouldn't be putting yourself in the placement to judge others. This is just my opinion on how I personally view the units. Doesn't necessarily mean that it is the word of God. There is one big elephant in the room, and I will say that that elephant is probably this not Golden Frieza, but this First Form Frieza. So, First Form Frieza is good, but the problem I have with this guy is that, like, he doesn't have a team. And I'm sorry to say, but this is a team-based game. You kind of need a team of 6 units. You need to have it to go forward into events, and it's just there isn't a team for him anymore. And you know, LR Final Form Cooler exists, and you know, older content exists that he can go into and he can, you know, waffle stomp on, and that's fantastic. That's great. The problem I have is like yeah, that's cool, but Wicked Bloodlines time has come and gone. There's not a lot of Conquest of Terror, Terrifying Conquerors. There's just not a lot of Conquest of Terror units that you can really take in to current standing content. You know, people are gonna be like, oh, there's LR Ginyu. Yeah, LR Ginyu, who is stuck to a special pose team. Frieza is not special pose. You cannot take advantage of him. Not to mention the fact Ginyu is literally a special pose. Like, he's a support unit for special posts. He's not a support unit for everyone else. Yes, he can support off turn, but my point is like, he's not worth bringing along for that because he'll just die. He needs special pose, so he's irrelevant. I mean, who else on this list are you taking? LR Golden Frieza? LR Golden Frieza is great for 4 or 5 turns, and then you're dead. And that's the other thing. First Form Frieza has the same problem. He has this over-glowing fact of 5 turns, and he loses attack and defense of 100%. You can build up that 100% attack, but you lose that defense. You lose this extra additional in here, and 5 turns is just way too soon. If this said turn maybe 7, turn 10, I wouldn't have even thought about it. But like 5 turns, that's short-term content, man. We don't need that. But we don't need that. There is no team. There is no placement for this guy. He can look good in the perfect setup scenario if you have all these best good villain units potentially, and with an absurd amount of RNG with dodge or die, and he can look good. But otherwise, I don't see a purpose to him. I don't see him being good. I don't see it. And please tell me when you're going to be able to take advantage of his full link set, because I don't see anyone ever getting this link off. Frieza's army is just not a link. It's just not there. I'm sorry. I like Frieza. I do. He's one of my favorite villains in the entire series, and I would love to use him, but I just don't see a placement for him right now. Maybe when we get some more content. Now, the biggest elephant in the room is obviously, it's definitely Piccolo. Piccolo is old now. He's a little old. I mean, he's a little old. He's only 1 year. He's only 1 year old. In fact, I think he's actually exactly 1 year old. This unit literally is, he can hit 2 million defense. He's got absurd amounts of damage. He's got utility. I mean, he's he disables enemies' actions. I I don't know how you can just ignore the fact of how good he still is. And I understand, you know, a lot of people are probably going to want to say, you know, like, you know, there's better units now. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, there's better units. But as far as TUR Dokkan Fests, he's not better than Vegeta. And like, I'm sorry, he's better than Frieza. He's got more placement than Frieza. He's got more defense. He doesn't probably have more damage. On a good day, he'll get near Frieza's damage, but he's not gonna beat out Frieza's height, because, you know, Frieza has a height of like hitting 18 million super attack, like three supers in a row, but it's only for one turn. It's only for like one turn, or after an absurd amount of stacking. But otherwise, like, yeah, I mean, all the other options, as far as anything else goes, yeah, he's at the bottom mostly because he's a villain. Mostly because of that kind of team restriction, big bad bosses and everything. That's why he's kind of low there. And there are better units. And that's the reason when we're going to go up to Gamma now. Gamma 1 is older than him by a lot, by like 2 years. This guy has just kind of stood the test of time. You throw him onto the team, he's support. He's got damage reduction. He's got guard. He's got built-in crit. I mean, he's good. He's good. The problem is like that guard runs away after 4 turns, and then you only have the damage reduction, and he starts feeling old once you lose the guard, because the damage reduction is sometimes just not enough. He actually goes into a point where he can no longer be in slot 1, and he needs to be in slot 2 or 3, and I would honestly say just float him. I mean, I'd say he's pretty much a floater at that point in time. So, I do like Gamma 1. I love Gamma 1. I just think he's starting to show his age quite a bit. But moving on up, we got 21. Now, obviously, everybody that watches my content or streams, etc., you know, Twitter, I love 21. 21's the waifu. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You know, I'm not going to give her more credit than she deserved. But she's a fantastic unit. We just got freaking Fat Boo, which we're getting a whole bunch of Majin Buu units. Majin Power adds to her worth. Her worth as a Majin Power leader. Her worth just as soon as she transfers into 21, like, she's just providing so much. She's providing tons of healing. She's an amazing solid defense, where she has damage reduction. I swear she had guard too. But I mean, she's very good. She's very good after she transforms. She provides a lot. She also has a active skill that actually disables enemies' actions. She can be very useful. I understand why people don't like her much. This is a unit where dupes matter. Dupes matter immensely for her. Dupes matter so much. If you do not have her at 2 dupes and above, she's just so painful to use. I can't sugarcoat that. 55%, she's not rocking. She's not rocking at 55. With 2 dupes and up. 2 dupes and up. But basically 8, 9, and 10, they're there because of utilities. They're there because of placement currently with how the meta is kind of going. And then, you know, they just have overall use. And they have overall use over all these other Dokkan Fests that have popped out since then. You know, they just have much more use than Frieza, and that's the other reason why I have Frieza off of the list, is because Frieza just doesn't have the same utilization that you're going to rock with Piccolo, with Gamma, or even with 21. Like, you can rock so many more like mixtures of teams and content with those 3 units. They just vastly outrank Frieza, in my opinion. It's not just a damage game, okay? It's not just about the damage. Frieza does good damage, I'll give you that. But defensively, he's not that great. Falls off after 5 turns on defense-wise. You cannot make a perfect team for him right now in the current meta. I don't see the reason Frieza could ever be above any of those 3. I could, especially after this. We're moving on to Hirudegarn and God Goku. Where is Hirudegarn? Here's Hirudegarn. Hirudegarn arguably can be put above God Goku. So I understand if you want to, like, you know, chuck Hirudegarn above God Goku. But my issue with Hirudegarn is the exact same thing. The exact same thing as with Frieza. It's your team, it's his utilization, it's all of that. Now the difference here is like Hirudegarn is a beast. He doesn't need a team. The only thing he needs is big bad bosses. That's all he needs. This fool just needs big bad bosses. You need to throw him in slot 1, and he needs to dodge, and then you need to transform him. Then he's just going to chuck out like 12, 13 million super attack. He's good. He's good. He's very good. I downplayed him a bit when he first released, and I'll admit that. And I mean, arguably, I really could honestly say I think I might even be more comfortable with this. And it's only because God Goku requires so much buildup now. He requires buildup. He requires orbs. He requires a specific team to even change his own orbs. But he still has a lot of other defining factors that make him very much usable. Got a great 200%. He's got a great 200% leader skill. He stacks. He's got dodge built in. He's got additionals, and he's got guards built in. He's got a decent active. Once he transforms, it's decent. It's okay. You do it at the end of the fight. You know, you do it to do some extra damage. But even in this part right here, it's not really that impressive. It's okay. But if you don't kill when you use this, you could be in trouble. Because, yeah, it's just not that super impressive after this point anymore. Not anymore, anyways. He's still good. He's still obviously impressive to a degree. It's just, yeah, I feel like I do feel like the overwhelming power with Hirudegarn when I have him on a team and when I'm using him in content. Like, I can feel his power. He is scary. He is good. And with Goku, he's a slow buildup. He's a very slow buildup. Hirudegarn's not a slow buildup. He's just good. He's just good. He's just, the only thing about him is like, if you do not build him up a little bit before you transform him, he is truly a dodge or die unit. I will say that. I will say that. I have gotten the most unlucky dodge ever in the history of mankind, and he has not dodged when he is transformed into Hirudegarn complete. And when I didn't build him up at all, I just floated him off, and he never got to build up, and he didn't dodge one freaking attack, and he got me killed. Okay, he is still dodge or die, but he's just so overwhelmingly a high chance to dodge, and he's just got such good damage. Like, I cannot stress how good he is. I skipped him because he's not a mandatory unit to have or to utilize in a lot of the content. He helps, but you don't need him. He's just very good though. He is very good. He is very good. Obviously, he's on top 10. So, let's move on past these bottom 5 here, and let's move on. We got Toppo. Toppo is going to be the next one. Now, Toppo's at 5 only because units are better than him, and the fact that he's basically only good on 2 teams, and that 2 teams is his own team, and actually that's it. He's only good on his own team pretty much. You can throw him onto his 170 categories, and he'll be a very good tank. Though I will say, without having without having another whole 2 special pose units on the team, or Allies of Justice, you know, he might struggle a little bit, perhaps, because, you know, at that point he's only a 170, so you kind of want a little bit more damage reduction just to go. But I think he would still be perfectly fine. I think he'd still live through everything. He's an amazing tank. He's an amazing tank. I gave him a lot of disrespect also when he came out, but he's got a great OST. His animations are okay, but he's just a good tank. He's a solid slot 1 tank, which the game desperately always needs a slot 1 tank. Moving up from him is going to be Super Saiyan 3 Ryukin Goku. Now, the only reason I'm putting him above Toppo is because he's Goku. He's Super Saiyan 3 Goku. He's got all these other categories that are much more prominent and more widely usable. He's got many more 200% leaders and many more options. He's a support unit. He's got a very good chance to dodge, but he is dodge or die. He is a dodge or die unit, 110%. This is also another unit I would arguably say is you have to have dupes. You want dupes with this guy. 55% Goku here. 55% Super Saiyan 3 Goku feels bad. He feels bad, but as soon as you get dupes, everything changes. As soon as you get dupes, everything all of a sudden changes. You want dupes. You want dupes. So, he's very good. He's just kind of there to dodge, do a little bit of damage, and then go into the standby mode here, support the rotation with some extra defense, and then get off that finish counter Dragon Fist to do an absurd amount of damage to the boss. That's basically what his purpose is. I would even almost say that he's even a floater at this point. His leader skill is okay. It's not terrible. It's not amazing. Final Trump card has a couple of leaders, not a lot of leaders. And Movie Heroes has plenty of leaders. So, I mean, you don't really need him as a leader per se, but it's not a terrible leader skill. He's just there basically because he just does better overall. And he mixes more with teams. He has more options than Topo. And that's really the only reason I put him above Topo, because Topo does more damage than him. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I'm really not going to lie to y'all. Topo does more damage than this Goku. It's a very hard, finicky thing to flip-flop these two around. I would say you could put Topo at 4 if you wanted to. I would say you could put Topo at 4. I really do. So, we're going to go just show off the top 3. And y'all can disagree. You can agree or disagree. I don't care. If you disagree, please tell me why. Let's just have a healthy debate. If you're just healthy debate. Just be chill, be good about it. So, top 3 Dokkan Fest TURs are as follows: Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Mr. Boo, Mr. Fat Boo, and then Vegeta. Super Saiyan transforming Vegeta. So Goku's number 1, Mr. Boo is Fat Boo. I keep saying Mr. Boo. Good Fat Boo is number 2, and then Vegeta is number 3. Vegeta, I feel like he just didn't have his moment to shine. I feel like Saiyan Day came and went very quickly. Just went right by. Just went straight by. And I didn't really feel like we got a lot of content to throw him at, just, the normal stuff. Or at least on Global. Global felt really weird with him. But he's a very good unit. Obviously, he tanks absurdly well. He leads Super Saiyans, which is, like, literally one of the best categories in the game as of right now. It will only get better as Global hits 9th. And I promise you, we're going to get more Super Saiyans by the end of the year. If we don't get at least 1 or 2 more Super Saiyans within the year, I will be astonished. I will just be astonished. He's a stacker. Very easy to throw onto how many other 200% leads can you throw him on? Okay, he doesn't fit on too many other 200% leads. That's kind of unfortunate. But let's see here. He's on Mastered Evolution, which could use a little help. Prodigious Warriors Transformation Boost, Android Cell Saga. So he is a little bit limited, but with how good he is and how much he stands out, he's just a very good unit. Very good animations, very good OSTs. And honestly, he's a Vegeta family and a Super Saiyan leader skill. Do you have any idea how many Vegeta family units we have gotten over the years? Do you have any idea how many Super Saiyan units we have gotten over the years? This guy's going to age like fine wine. He really is. Like, he's just going to be usable for a very good long time. And I'd say he's going to live a lot. He's going to have a much longer lifespan than even God Goku. Because he just guards without any restrictions. He's just a better defensive God Goku. I mean, really, he is. Yeah, really. I don't know what else to say. He's just him. He's just him. Not to mention, I cannot express how satisfying it is to get the active skill KO with this. Just perfect. But anyways, we'll move on to number 2 slot, which is the Fat Majin Buu. This guy's gotten a lot of push, and honestly, with how the Golden Week celebration is going, I would almost say some people could try to shove him into the number 1 TUR, I would say. Now, some people are probably wondering, why is Vegeta not up above Buu? Buu provides so much, man. Buu provides so much. Buu almost guarantees you can't die. On the correct team, of course. He has so much healing. He helps villains absurdly. He helps out villains so much. In all honesty, I've also realized that he helps a lot of units that have HP restrictions. A quick one that comes to mind is the AGL Golden Frieza. Just the TUR one. The TUR one has a HP restriction, and because of that HP restriction, it makes it so it's difficult to kind of use him. Where is he? He's all the way down here. So he's on this category, and trust me, there's like nothing here to work with. But the thing is he has 90% damage reduction. 90% damage reduction. That's absurd. Okay, that's absurd. You only have to have your HP above 40%. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I don't think you'll almost ever at any point in time hit below 40%, and even if you do, you're gonna heal right up as long as you have. I mean, if you have 2 Majin Buu, 2 Fat Buus, and they're just constantly cycling on rotations, you're never gonna die. You're just never gonna lose enough HP. You'll just always have enough HP. It's a little crazy. It's a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, not to mention one of the biggest thing. The other thing here is like he revives. When he revives, he just becomes stronger defensively. He has unconditional guard as soon as that happens. He gets free additionals. And he can get that even just from anyone reviving. Now, I mean, you're probably not going to have anyone else revive and throw it off, but he also recovers sweets with HP. He massively raises his attack and delay. He ghost ushers, man. He ghost ushers. He has a ghost usher. Now, the only issue I have with the Ghost Usher is that it can only be activated starting from the 7th turn. There's no leeway in there. There's no leeway. It's 7th turn and on. That's when you can use the Ghost Usher. There's no other point of time you can. So, but he helps a lot of teams. He's on a lot of teams that you could just chuck him onto. And that's the other that's the thing about this Majin Buu is like you could just chuck him onto a lot of these categories and just benefit from him being there. Have him get destroyed in slot 1 early on, have him revive right away, have him build up and just heal HP every single turn, and he's just so good. He just really is so good. Which is why I'm saying you could argue to replace him with the number 1 TUR on my list, which is this Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Now, there's been a lot of debate that I've seen in the community. Seen a lot of debate, and that's fine. Debates are great as long as they're healthy, as long as you stay positive and you're not being rude. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna be real with y'all. The super units, hero units, not villains, are just overall better. And Goku's crazy. Goku is absolutely absurd. Especially at Rainbow. This is another one of those units I would say that you can feel a little bit of a difference. For both of them, actually. You can feel a good amount of difference when they're at 55% and versus dupes. You can argue and tell me, like, oh, well, duh, every unit feels different with dupes. Yeah, well, some units feel better than others. and you can feel a big damage difference at the very least. You won't feel a big defense difference, I will say that. Defense difference you will not really feel with Goku. You'll just feel a damage difference. The damage difference does help quite a bit, because both of their damage numbers are pretty low. In fact, I would argue to say, let's see here, Vegeta, this Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Oppo, not got Goku, definitely Hirudegarn, and Piccolo, all are pretty much out damaging Majin Buu and Goku. You know, obviously, if you throw Goku into slot 2, he's triple supering. You have his active to use, and you'll be seeing like 8 million, 9 million, 10 million attack stats, and you know, you stack those up, and that's insanely good. But in slot 1, his damage is cut quite a bit. I mean, it would not be absurd to see a 55% Goku only pop out of 4 to 5 million, maybe 6 million super, which is very low. That's a very low damage number. Same thing with Majin Buu. Like, he just has barely any damage in him. He's not here for damage. Majin Buu is not here for damage. Majin Buu is here for utility, and he's here to be a tank. He's here to heal and support. That's kind of what he's here for. Goku, on the other hand, if you throw him in slot 2, he can actually do a large amount of good damage. But yeah, his I will say though, his active is not that impressive. All attacks become crit, and he massively raises his attack. It's not very you know, not very shiny. Meanwhile, Majin Buu has this like absolutely ridiculous active skill that's a Ghost Usher. You know, that Ghost Usher utility is very good. But as I said before, teams matter, units matter, everything matters. I don't think there's too many 200% teams you're going to be throwing this Goku onto. But here's the deal. He has a 90% damage reduction. He's got a 90% damage reduction. If he doubles supers on the first turn, he has a 100% damage reduction. You literally cannot kill this fool. You literally cannot kill him on the first turn. It's impossible. It is literally impossible to kill Goku on the first turn if he double supers. If he double supers and freaking they made an event where you're fighting I don't know, Zeno, and he supers you after Goku double supered, Goku would tank it because he has 100% damage reduction. He lowers the damage of the enemy by 100%. So but obviously his damage reduction falls off over time. You'll start feeling he's a lot weaker as soon as you hit about turn 7 or 8, roughly. It just really depends on when he pops up on rotation. This Goku is a unit where he pops up on the first turn, or like when he pops up at first, is gonna matter. If he pops up turn 1, I would say his defense is gonna start getting a little bit worse around turn 8 or so, 8, 9-ish, because he loses 30% damage reduction pretty much every rotation. It's 15% per turn at the end of the turn. So turn 1, once that ends, he loses 15%. Even though he's not on the rotation, he loses 15% on the next turn, on turn 2. And then when he comes back on turn 3, he's lost a total of 30%, and once that turn finishes, he will have lost 45% damage reduction. So you can see how that really stacks up quite a bit. And the main reason why he's able to tank so well is because he also has guard in slot 1. So, and he does have a Ki Blast nullification. Type advantage bosses, like this dude's just gonna rock them. He's just gonna rock them. He rocks the Gogeta Blue Zone fight. He rocks it. So, I mean, he's very good. But, and I think he will have a lot of good usage. It's just the absurd amount of damage reduction he has. He is so good for global content, and he's very good for JP's content right now. Boo is still very good, of course. I have already had a couple instances, though, where this right here gets me killed. And it's because of his team. So, I mean, obviously, you have the perfect setup team, and this isn't a concern. But I have already had an instance where I fought the new red zone stage. He survived the KO attack. He didn't get to build up enough. And the next enemy, the next unit that got hit, that wasn't Boo, died because we got thrown down to like almost no HP. So he does have his limits. Whereas Goku probably would have tanked it, just straight up because of all the guard and the damage reduction that he has. Majin Buu doesn't have it. I already had him be revived, and even with guard, you know, if there's enough damage coming through, guard is not going to save you. He doesn't have damage reduction. Boo doesn't have damage reduction. He has guard, and he has raw defense. So he does have his clear weaknesses. He does recover HP. Like I said, though, I can arguably see why some people would think one or the other was in the top 1 position. But I just feel like Goku does a mixed bag of everything and has more options than Boo does. So, but that's gonna be it. I'm really rambling on right now, and I'd rather just kind of stop rambling. So, please let me know what your opinion is down below. Do you agree with this top 10 list here? Obviously, some people are gonna argue like, no, just take off Piccolo Jr. and throw on Frieza or someone. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, no. I'm sorry, no. I have to disagree. I gotta disagree. Piccolo Jr. still holds very well. Piccolo Jr. still holds up very well, just like Gamma 1 does. And I think he deserves to be on this list much more than Frieza does. So, anyways, guys, let me know what your top 10 TUR Dokkan Fests are as of right now for Dokkan Battle. And thank you for watching. Have a good day and a good night.